Happy holidays! Happy holidays. I'm waiting for people to start saying compliments of but let's not rush to that part of the year as of yet. For now, let us enjoy where we are because it's been a very long year for many of us and we've worked very hard to get to this point, so we might as well enjoy it. Today we'll be talking about your holiday budget, how to stick to your holiday budget, as well as how to spend wisely so that January is not as painful as January normally is. Like, I'm just looking out for you, but I'm also looking out for myself. So I'm gonna share with you 5 tips that I've sort of implemented this holiday season in order for me not to go broke and in order for January not to be painful, because I mean, we made it to December, but at what cost, right? So today we're going to be diving into 5 ways in which you can enjoy your festive season without breaking the bank. The last thing you want, honestly, is for your banker or your bank to be wondering whether, there's fraudulent activity on your account, because it's so out of habit, it's so out of character. So I'm just gonna help you remain in character mode this festive season, and putting in place some healthy, money spending habits in order for you to enjoy, but also, to kickstart the year in a not so stressful way. All right, number 1, you're gonna wanna get clear on what it is that you're looking for from this festive season. There's often 3 categories that most of us fall into. Number 1, most people are looking for adventure. Number 2, most people will be looking for the opportunity to catch up with friends or family that they haven't seen in a while. And thirdly, most of us are just looking for an opportunity to rest. But you might find yourself being a little bit of these 3, or wanting a combination of these 3, meaning 1 being a little bit of fun, number 2 wanting to have some quality time with friends and family, and number 3 just wanting to spend some time with yourself in order for you to rest and recover, to be able to enter the new year feeling refreshed. That's very important, and this is the right time to do that. This is the right time to break down. This is the right time to sleep in. This is the right time to not set your alarm, This is just the right time to do all the things that you don't do during the course of the year, obviously within moderation. So you might find yourself wanting a little bit of these 3. How you choose to balance it, whether it is in equal parts, is entirely up to you. But at least know which of those categories you fall into, or how much of your time you would like to allocate to that. Speaking of time, number 2, you need to know how much time you have. And what I mean by that is, how much time do you have off? Are you off for a week? Are you off for 2 weeks? Are you off for a month? Because by knowing how much time you have off, you are in a better position to allocate that time into what is a priority to you. If you're off only for a week, perhaps you might want to spend 2 days with family, 2 days with friends, and 3 days with yourself, vice versa. It's entirely up to you as to how you break that down. Knowing how much time you have will help you better prioritize how you choose to spend that time and how much money you spend in that time. Thirdly, speaking about spending, you need to know how much budget you have, what you have available in terms of funds to be able to spend within that time and period. I think the most important thing at this point in time is to remember that your December salary, whether you got it on the 15th, on the 20th, or whenever it is that you get it, it's not just for the festive season. Please, I think many of us keep forgetting this. It is for the festive season, but it's also for January. And that is why many of us suffer so much in January. We fail to allocate funds to January, and we just focus on our December, and we just decide we're just going to survive January, just survive. I honestly don't want to enter a new year in survival mode. That does not bring me peace, right? So if you are similar to me in that regard, where you want to have a sense of security, still have fun, but a sense of security as well, I would advise you to make sure that all your bills are paid. First things first, let's keep the main thing, let's keep basics basics must be covered. So whether you're getting paid on the 16th or you're getting paid on the 20th, before you even go grocery shopping for Christmas lunch, Make sure that your rent is paid. Make sure that your car is paid, or you've allocated funds towards transportation for January. Like, make sure that your four walls are covered. Many people in the financial sector or space talk about making sure that your four walls are covered. And what they mean by, they don't mean like literally these four walls, but it refers to your housing, so the roof over your head, food, and utilities. So making sure that you've got electricity, so you can have hot water, or how else you gonna get ready? Have hot water and be able to cook yourself meals, and have funds allocated to transportation. So this could mean making sure that you've paid for your car for the month of January, and you've also put away, whether it's 1,000 rands or 2,000 rands, towards petrol, or towards taxis, or whatever the case might be, towards Ubers, etc. So make sure that those are covered before you even go Christmas shopping, before you asking about Santa, before you are picking out your next hairstyle, your nails for the festive season. Like, those things can wait. Make sure that your four walls are covered. Honestly speaking, the last thing you want is to be spending your rent money on Christmas lunch, or your rent money on a getaway, or your rent money on New Year's Eve on shots, or whatever other crazy things that we plan to get up to this festive season. And the crazy thing is, like, when you are in the moment, you know, you're not even calculating, because at that, I promise you, if you were to try, you'll see that the math is not mathing. So just to avoid all of that stress, make sure that your January bills, your January expenses are covered. If you can do just that, man, I don't care what else you do with your money. Just make sure that, even if it means, you know, you're paying in advance, like, I promise you, the bank is not going to be overly excited that you paid your car early, or your landlord is not going to be, you know, going to Maldives because you paid your rent early. No, this is to help you. Don't even try and put it in a different savings account, because you'll see that as an available balance. And I think right there, that's where the danger is. Seeing it as an available balance. It's not available. You shouldn't even be seeing that amount. So ideally, just pay those things early, so that, you know, there's less temptation, right? Cool. Number 4, the fun part. You get to now play with what is left. By that I mean, because now that your bills are paid off, let's just make a scenario. Let's say, for example, you earn 20,000 rands a month, and your bills are 13,000 rands, so all your bills are paid. You'll be left with about 7,000 rands. Now your 7,000 rands, that is your holiday fund. How you choose to spread that is entirely up to you. Remember earlier on we touched about knowing how long your festive season break is. So if you know, for example, your festive season break is about 14 days, so essentially 2 weeks, and your disposable income is 7,000 rands, if you say 7,000 divided by 14, that will give you about 500 rand a day. So your allowance technically therefore then becomes 500 rands a day. Now here's an extra tip on top of everything. Here is the cherry on top. If you're smart, you will know that grooving every day is not sustainable, not even from a financial point of view. We've sort of determined your daily allowance being 500 at the point if your disposable is 7k, but from an energy point of view, remember we spoke about knowing what it is that you're looking for from the festive season. So the adventure, the fun, and spending time with family and friends, and also spending time to yourself. I would suggest, from the 14 days that you have, find every few days just to, you know, recover, just to reset, just to charge your social batteries. Therefore you could be going out every second day instead of every single day, or rather having plans every second day instead of having plans every single day. By doing that, you would essentially only have 7 social days. I don't know how I'm doing this, but 7 social days, right? And the other 7 days being days where you are just sitting at home, where you're just recovering, where you're just lazing around, you're just sleeping in, you're just binging Netflix, you just, you know, just doing you, just taking a walk, going to the park, just doing whatever brings you joy, whatever it is that brings you peace. Meaning that because you've got the 7k and you only have 7 days, essentially that doubles up your spending allowance on the days where you do go out. So essentially now you'd have 1,000 rands every time you go out. This, because I mean, if we're gonna be honest, days are not built the same. You know, Christmas is not the same as other days. Probably, you know, if you're contributing to Christmas lunch with family, it might probably be 1,000 rands from your end. So essentially that day would be taken away. But also keeping in mind the day after Christmas is also a public holiday, so you see it can get very tricky. So just look at your calendar, plan accordingly, so that you can have fun and also you don't find yourself out of budget. Definitely not tapping into your savings unless if it's an emergency of some sort, like your car breaking down, like what happened to me this week. My goodness, I'm still traums. But a topic for a different day. And this is why I think having an emergency fund is so important, but so is having sinking funds, which is so exciting, a topic that I look forward to jumping into in the next coming weeks, so that come next year Christmas, you know, there's funds available for this time of the year, and we are not trying to, you know, do calculations and the math is not mathing, like just to avoid all of that drama. We will be establishing sinking funds in the new year, which I'm super excited about, but that's a topic for a different day altogether. Number 5, let's talk about Christmas gifts, right? It is the season of giving, it is the season of sharing, and back to the fact of you knowing how much you have available from a disposal point of view, I would like to say it's honestly the thought that counts. I don't think anyone is expecting you to buy them a PS5, or they're expecting you to buy them, you know, the latest iPhone, unless if you're a parent. Like, I feel like the conversation is entirely different, but also kids shouldn't be that entitled. But who am I to speak on that topic? Nonetheless, when it comes to gift giving, know what is practical for you, set a budget, and perhaps don't wait for last minute shopping, because I feel like that is where the pressure begins to become worse, where the pressure is just, you know, it just accumulates. Because number one, how do you even make the right decision? Going to too many shops, fatigue starts, you know, at some point people have meltdowns. Like, you don't want that drama. So ideally a week before Christmas, that's when you should be doing your shopping. I would say if you're running late, it should be like a day or two before Christmas, not on Christmas morning, definitely not. That is just like a lot to deal with. But set a budget that is practical for you. So let's go back to the example that we're using. If let's say, you know, you've got 7,000 rand as your disposable income, maybe you're from a small family and 1,000 rand is enough to give to everybody, and by everybody maybe it's just like 4 or 5 people, then you have like about 200 or 250 to utilize towards a gift for each and every person. And I mean, there's so many things that you can get within that price range. Wrap them up nicely, take your time, but at the end of the day, I don't think anyone is expecting gifts unless if that's the culture or you know, the norm around holiday season, around festive season within your family, within your circle of friends, etc. If that is the case, take it from, it's not going to come from anywhere else. Take it from your disposable income. Maybe it means, you know, you're sitting at home for 2 extra days to be able to equally allocate funds for those gifts. That's absolutely fine. But also remember, I think it's important to also gift yourself. And when I say gift yourself, I don't mean like, you know, buy yourself something very nice, wrap it up, you know, sign it up, put it under the Christmas tree, come Christmas morning like, ooh, this is for me, from who? Like, nah, that's a bit crazy. Like, don't do that. Like, you know, it's from you, don't do that. What I mean is, whatever it is that is fun for you to do, whatever it is that brings you pleasure, this festive season, as much as you are gifting other people and you're giving and you're sharing, don't forget to give yourself some of that love too. So you could be someone that enjoys spa dates, some pampering. Book yourself a spa date. Like, if you're going to be gifting everybody, contributing to this, doing that, like being there for other people, please prioritize yourself as well. Don't put yourself last on your own list. Make sure that you are also rewarding yourself for the year that you've gone through. There's so many battles that we fight privately, and they aren't, out there on social. They're not out there in the public eye. So kudos to you for going through everything that you've gone through this year. You've made it this far. We're not gonna then ask at what cost, but point is, nonetheless, you are here, you are still standing, and you deserve a pat on your shoulder for that. Treat yourself to something that brings you joy. You won't regret it. So what better time than to live and to enjoy being alive than now? I can't think of a better time. At the end of the day, let's just remember what this time of the year is all about. I think when you have that in perspective, or when you have that sort of perspective, you become a little bit more grateful for all that you already have, instead of looking at the things that you don't have. I think this time of the year is a good time to take stock of the many ways in which you've been blessed, no matter how big, no matter how small, all the highlights, all the things that took place behind the scenes and made you smile and made you cry and made you grow. That is what it's all about. And yeah, Christmas, Christ, Lord and Savior. Just had to put that in there. But happy holidays. Enjoy the festive season. That's it from me. Mwah.